Hi you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life Process video on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be working with week 43 from 2016. I am caught up, which is excellent. So I'm going to be going back and doing some spreads from 2014 because I am definitely behind there. So I think I need to start from May and work my way through it. So I will be working through that in the coming weeks, hopefully. I also want to be doing projects like December daily, so I'll have that coming up as well. Before I get started, obviously right now I am just going through some photos. We were on a trip to Bryce Canyon over the weekend for our fall break, and so I've got a lot from that trip. Most of my photos this week came from that trip. Just a few came from the couple days before. So that's what you'll see me doing now, is just kind of organizing everything. But before I jump into this spread, I wanted to thank you so much for being with me. It's been a lot of fun to be able to work on something I love and to be able to share it with you. So thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know that there is a lot out there and there's a lot that you could be doing. So I appreciate you being here. So the first thing that you saw me do is that card that says this week. It came from lifecaptured.com, and a few weeks back, I used her 4x6 little cards, if you remember, and I can link to that video down below, and you can see how I used the InDesign program to work with those cards. And I did the same thing here. She has some 3x4 cards. And so I pulled that out because I really like how it says this week. And that is something you could simply make yourself. But I appreciate her taking the time to do it. And I obviously want to be able to help out other artists. So I went ahead and bought that from her. Some of the cards that you'll be seeing from this week are from the Studio Calico October kit. That Yes Weekend came from that kit. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it, that might be the only one that's from a kit. The other ones I might end up making. So we'll have to see as we come up. I'm pretty sure that's what I end up doing. But right now I'm just trying to organize my photos. I find it really challenging it's a lot of fun to have a lot of photos. I think I had about 400 photos, but I find it challenging to know how to narrow it down. But I definitely, like I've said in the past, I kind of go down with the questions that I ask myself are, what photos are going to best represent my week? What photos do I want to that best tell the stories that I want to remember and the stories that I want to tell? This week, you'll see that I keep it very simple. I wanted to really let the photos stand out. I didn't do a lot of texting on there, and I didn't do a whole lot of journaling. There were a few stories that I really wanted to pull out from the week, but other than that, I really just let my photos tell the story this week, which is kind of nice as a variety to not have a lot of embellishments going on. Right now I'm working on my title page, and I pulled it's actually a 4x6 card from the Midnight Edition from Liz Tamanaha. That's from Becky Higgins. That's a Project Life kit. And I got this really awesome date stamp from Studio Calico. If you don't know anything about it, like run, don't walk to Studio Calico. I love this date stamp. I tried to get it 3 times, and it went twice. It sold out, and then they finally came out with a pre-stamp. That I could pre-buy it. I think they did that so that they would know how many they need to manufacture. But I was super excited that I was able to get it and to use it. So I decided to use that card and use the lines in the card to help me do the stamping. So now I'm pulling out this is a stamp set called Drive from Ali Edwards Story Stamp Kits. Now, if you haven't seen Ali Edwards Story Stamp Kits, I would suggest definitely looking at them. They are only available for a month, and then they are unavailable. So it's something that you can do monthly if you want. It's something that you can sign up to do 6 months or a year. I've absolutely loved them. I've bought a couple kits, but mostly I just do the stamps, and I've really enjoyed being able to have them. She's very thoughtful when it comes to telling stories, and they're very useful on Project Life and on regular scrapbooking. I don't do that a whole lot, but you can definitely see how they would be useful. So definitely give it a try. If you haven't, go to her website and check it out. So some of the embellishments that I'm using also came from the October Studio Calico kit. And I'm just writing out my journaling, and you'll see I end up doing this card a couple of times, which is a little frustrating, but I'm telling my story and I realize like I'm literally like barely telling any part of the story. I'm just getting at the surface, and I really want to go deep into the story. So I'm like, okay, I've got a little bit more that I want to say, because we ended up, my one daughter ended up staying home and not coming with us. So I had more of a story to tell. So I'm like, okay, I need to restamp this. I turned it around and I'm like, I'll lift it up. That'll give me a little bit more room. But really it gave me like maybe 1 or 2 lines. And I had a lot that I wanted to say. So anyways, I'm setting that aside for a minute and I'm moving on to my other card. And I used more of those corkboard embellishments, and that says noteworthy. And then I just told one of the stories. One thing that I really loved from this trip is that there was no service. So when we went to the cabin, there was 0 service. There wasn't like, we couldn't even make a phone call. So it was kind of nice to have the ability to just just detach from life and unplug. It was kind of hard for my daughter at first. She wanted to keep up her Snapchat streaks, but she was able to do that as we would drive each day to Bryce Canyon. So she was able to get a little bit of service. But if you haven't done that, I would suggest giving yourself an opportunity to completely unplug. So anyways, like I told you, I needed more room to tell the story that I wanted to tell from that one card. And so I decided to make my own. And I'm using, again, the Drive stamp set from Ali Edwards. And this stamp says The Road Ahead. And it's really hard to see because I'm using this lighter ink. This ink is from Studio Calico. And what I'm doing is I'm doing some I'm stamping right on the card, and then I'm doing some, it's called second generation stamping, where you stamp it off onto the scratch piece of paper and then stamp it on. So like I said, it's hard to see, but it is actually pretty messy, but you can see that it actually says The Road Ahead. And I really like that. I think hindsight, looking at it when it's actually, with all of my stuff, I think I would have preferred it to be black or maybe gray, but I didn't want to redo it. It's one of those things that I end up doing, and I'm like, maybe I should have made a different decision. I should have chosen differently, but I'm not going to go back and redo it because I'm just really happy to have my stories told. And in the end, I'm not going to worry about what the color was. I actually really like that color. It's Glass Slipper. It's from Studio Calico, and they actually have, their inks are really great for second generation stamping. So if you haven't tried out their inks, you can definitely go ahead and do that at their website. They have some beautiful colors. So I got all the story told that I wanted to, and you can see that I needed a lot more room than just what a 3x4 was going to allow me to do. So I was happy that I got that down. And I really do like the way the card worked out by adding the washi and just doing a border like that. So I need to remember to play more with my stamps and make more of my own 3x4 embellishment cards. So I'm just moving a few things around and trying to decide what I want to do with that pocket. Now I believe I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing next, but I know at some point, I'm looking for a little embellishment to add to that Yes Weekend, because I felt like it needed just a little bit something more. I was thinking of turning it around. It had a blue and a pink, and I thought, I'll add a little bit more of that blue color, but the pink was throwing me off. So I just went ahead and did the black and white. I kind of like that everything was kind of black and white and gray because the oranges and blues were so much this week. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm pulling my Kelly Perky stamps, those outline stamps again. I believe I used those last week. I've been using these a lot because I've really been liking them, that I can add a title right onto my photos. And I could do it in Photoshop, but it's actually a lot of fun to be able to play with your supplies. And like I've said before, then you feel like you're actually getting your money's worth because you're using your supplies. So I just went ahead and added those stamps right onto my Fiskars press. I really like this press. It gives a great impression every time, but I also love that it has this grid because it helps when you're working with letter stamps and also phrase stamps. So I think it's such a great tool. If you're looking to buy a block that's a little bit bigger, I would definitely suggest the Fiskars stamp press. So I finished up that card that said Bryce Canyon. I'm really hoping that that will be a secondary title for this spread. And the next thing I'm moving on to is another 3x4 card. So the only card that I have left. And I apologize ahead of time. My battery died in my camera, and so I needed to add a new one. And when I did, I forgot to hit record. So I did not get to show you how I made this card, but it was really easy. I did it in Photoshop. You could also do it in Photoshop Elements or in Word. I just added some text, formatted it to the middle, and then I printed and cut it out. And then I added the chipboard phrase up there that says daily routine, because those are the things that we basically did every day on our trip. So I just wanted to add those because it was just a very simple thing. And now I am working to add a little tab, an Avery tab, to the side of my insert, just so it will be a little bit easier to turn when I'm looking through it. And these stamps that I'm using are some old Technique Tuesday Allie Edwards stamp. But if I'm right, and I don't know if I am, I believe that she added these stamps as a roller stamp, and they are available on her website. So go ahead and check those out, because I think that they're a really great thing to add to these Avery tabs, but also to be able to make some 3x4 cards. Anyway, you guys, this is the spread for this week. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I really hope you got something from this video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section below, and I will definitely get to them. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. All right, you guys, we will catch you next week. Bye.